Is time. Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys, week 1, 4:25 Eastern. The NFL season finally begins for your Cleveland Browns. We're going to break it all down. Your latest Locked On Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound, LGB on the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Jeff Lloyd. We appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. The everyday crowd keeps growing. You guys are the best. Join the everyday crowd. Subscribe to the Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, very, very simple. You put together a lineup, 2 to 6 players. You pick more than, less than. It cashes out. You win $50. Put in $5, win $50. You don't even have to win the bet, and that is how Prize Picks will hook you up. Prize Picks, run your league. Finished their week of practice. Final injury reports are in. What we know to this point is Jedrick Wills will be out and unavailable on Sunday. A tackle will be brought up from the practice squad. You have to assume most likely that is going to be Jermaine Urfidi. The other thing to consider is the Browns still currently are only at 52 men on the roster. So they could bring up as well Lorenzo Thompson. So you would have then essentially 4 tackles ready to go for Sunday. I'm sorry, 5 tackles. You bring in James Hudson into the mix. With Jack Conklin given a questionable tag as far as going on Sunday, did participate today. Pretty much, Jack, everything he's done has been limited. Again, I've brought up early in the week, is he kind of getting the J.C. Treader treatment, where they're just getting him through a practice week, not really counting and worrying about what he does during practice, and going to throw him out there Sunday and see what he has. There is a lot of talk possibly that you could see some James Hudson. Now, is this going to be something where you're going to start Jack Conklin and see what he's got? And, maybe Jack looks good and you let him go. Can Jack play 60 minutes? I don't know. I don't think you know. I don't even think Jack Conklin knows right now. We know, he was very limited all summer long, only back to practice in the last 2 weeks. Come back to practice with the thought process of playing him at left tackle. So that is where we're at with that 4 right now. But Jack Conklin is questionable. Certainly we will know more about that. 4:25 start. We should know somewhere a little bit before 3 o'clock on Sunday. Now, there is, a big, big glaring hole for me. And again, the coverage, we've had weeks to cover week 1, and the coverage we're getting towards this Browns-Cowboys game, a lot of it is, talking about things that are in the past, people, guys and what they've gone through personally. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. We're trying to break down a game here. And one of the biggest facts of this game is the Dallas Cowboys top corner on Sunday, Trevon Diggs, is coming back off of ACL surgery. One of the facts of this game is that you have some really, really great route runners for the Cleveland Browns. Amari Cooper, very good route runner. Elijah Moore, very good route runner. New Cleveland Brown wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, very good route runner. Amari Cooper, a master of the double move. Trevon Diggs, with 2 healthy knees, was not good against double moves. So going to be, always had a ball hawk mentality. He's always had a guy who's turned, a lot of interceptions, but he gets it as good as he gives it sometimes. And with him in his first action back off an ACL injury, that is a matchup the Browns need to exploit. Rookie corner on the other side as well, 5th round pick. I don't want to hear it. The Browns wide receivers are light years better than this Dallas Cowboys secondary is right now. No Deron Bland is a big, big hole for the Cowboys. He made up for a lot of things last year, not only creating the interceptions, but the amount of interceptions he took to the house. He was probably 4th or 5th on the team last year in touchdowns. That is the impact that a guy like Deron Bland had for this team last year. Now, look, I can't sit here and extrapolate and try to tell you, that I think the Cleveland Browns offensive line is going to go out there and get things done, because we say all the time, it's not about what I think, it's about what I can prove. And with a new offensive line coach, and with this semblance of offensive line, which most likely looks like it is going to be DeJuan Jones at right tackle, it is going to be Wyatt Teller at right guard, Postic at the center position, Joe Bitonio at left guard, And as we think is going to be Jack Conklin at left tackle, we have not seen any semblance of this offensive line play together the way it's going to currently be constructed. We have not seen this offensive line do anything together under Coach Dickerson. So we're all going to be sitting here, and it's all going to be the first time. It's all going to be the first thing. We know the Dallas Cowboys have very strong pass rushers in Tank Lawrence, a very strong pass rusher, game-changing, dominant, Myles Garrett, almost type presence in Micah Parsons. Kind of does things a little differently. And we've talked about this, the LT comparisons, the fact that Parsons can kind of shoot more inside, and you certainly can do damage from the outside. I personally think that would be a mistake for the Dallas Cowboys to do, because, you got to think that, Wyatt Teller and Joel Bitonio are probably a matchup that's going to go back and forth. You're going to make Jack Conklin show you what you have if you're the Dallas Cowboys. Even if it's James Hudson, you're going to go out there and go after James Hudson all day long. We understand that. Now, what you were looking for here from the offense as well is, look, you're going to need some semblance of a running game. Now, I'm not even saying it's one of those things, where it's going to turn into a lot of production. You're going to have to run the ball to keep them honest. You're just going to have to, because we do not know the type of pass pro that this offensive line is going to be able to provide. What we do know is that Deshaun Watson, through his own words, has said that he has been guilty of slow starts. He has been guilty of maybe holding the ball too long. Well, if there was ever a time to maybe break some of those habits, it should certainly be Sunday in the opener against the Dallas Cowboys. You've got two top pass rushers on this Cowboys defense. You don't know what Jack Conklin is totally going to give you. You need to find these guys. The Browns keep upgrading their skill players. And it's not just to offset Deshaun Watson. It's just because the opportunity is there to make yourself better, and that's what you do. Deshaun Watson's got to get the ball quickly. You cannot have this north of 3-second stuff. It's not going to work against Micah Parsons, not going to work against Tank Lawrence. Plus, you have guys who are going to be able to create a ton of separation and going to be able to get open at a much quicker pace. Get Jerry Jeudy involved. Get him involved early. This guy is chomping at the bit for this fresh start, for this fresh opportunity to prove himself. He knows CeeDee Lamb, a guy he was drafted before, but who just cashed in on big time money. Jeudy got his money, but CeeDee Lamb got money. Jerry Jeudy wants to go up against a guy like this and show him what he can do. He wants to show him how he was lost in the last few years with the Denver Broncos. Jerry Jeudy, in my opinion, is going to be a guy that's going to have a great day Sunday. Keep working Njoku over the middle. These Cowboys linebackers are not going to be able to run with him. What do we say all the time with David Njoku? Too big for defensive backs, too fast for linebackers. That is absolutely something that is going to be the case this week. Run the ball with your backs. Screen game, get your own forward involved. Use everybody. Deshaun Watson, I don't need a 355 touchdown day. I need a completion percentage north of 65, and I need 1 to 0 interceptions. Clean, concise football. We're going to continue here. We're going to talk about the Browns' defensive side. Your latest Locked On Browns continues. Nobody go anywhere. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. 1 Caleb Williams passing yards gets you 1 win on PrizePicks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Your latest Locked On Browns continues. I'm your host, Jeff Floyd. We appreciate everybody who makes the show their first listen every single day. If you are not part of the everyday crowd, just change it. Just make it simpler for yourself. Make your life better. Subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. Your prize picks for this Sunday, Browns Cowboys. Jerry Jeudy, you can get him somewhere in the 40-yard range. Smash that. Greater than, more than. Jerome Ford, somewhere there. Same thing, yards on the ground. Go ahead, take that as well. More than. Cedric Tillman, I saw as low as 19 yards. Take that one as well. Cedric Tillman's going to have a big player too. And the under, CeeDee Lamb is 80s. CeeDee Lamb is going to have more than one Cleveland Brown defensive back around him at all times. If there is going to be somebody to beat the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, it is not going to be number 88, CeeDee Lamb. Plus, I'm not saying he's going to be rusty, but Dak has spent weeks and months preparing with other guys, might have a better flow, and if the coverage is tilted to CeeDee Lamb, Dak is going to look the other way. Your defensive thoughts here going into this. Now, again, just as much as think there is a glaring weakness, something to look at within the Dallas Cowboys defense, I feel the same way about the Dallas Cowboys offense. Cooper Beebe, your starting center. He was a tackle in college, then moved to guard. The Cowboys drafted him, transitioned him to center. He did a great job over the summer, took a job that wasn't maybe thought to be his just yet. But Cooper Beebe is a rookie center starting on the road against the guys like Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, Maurice Hurst, Juan Jefferson. That is certainly something to watch for. Certainly, is he going to be able to get the snaps right all game long? Another big key factor. Now, Guyton, the starting left tackle, who was a collegiate right tackle. Browns fans, stop me if you heard me, and stop me if you know how this scenario went. But you are getting in there, and you are getting into your first NFL start at left tackle. And you are probably going to face Myles Garrett 15, 20 times in pass pro, if not more. And if it's not Myles Garrett, it's Za'Darius Smith. And if it's not Za'Darius Smith, it's Alex Wright. And if it's not Alex Wright, it's Ogbonnia Okoronkwo. This young man is walking into a very, very difficult situation. Can he step up? Can he seize the moment? We've seen plenty of times in the NFL. And look, they waxed poetic last night about the rookie tackle of the Kansas City Chiefs last night, didn't they? Yeah. Well, he was charged with 9 pressures, and his PFF grade was like 42. So don't think it's just so easy. And we've talked about this for years on this show, certainly a million times with Pete Smith. It is a whole different thing going from dominating people in college to trying to come in here and push around grown-ass men who are fighting to feed their families. The Browns' defensive line needs to get off to a strong start to this season. They have the talent. They have the momentum after last year. They've got a defensive coordinator that just encourages them to just go out there and be a bunch of crazy sickos and just mess things up. It is the perfect situation. Secondary, you're healthy. Everybody's there. You've got Denzel Ward. You've got MJ Emerson. You've certainly got Greg Newsome. You've got the 3 young guys behind them, all with some promise. It would be two second year players. And then the rookie and Miles Harden, these guys are all available, ready to help and take some reps. Secondary, I mean, how many teams could say that their top 3 safeties are Juan Thornhill, Grant Elpit, and a veteran, the ilk of Rodney McLeod? Now, it's going to be big for them. It is. Now, look, week 1, guys have been watching the tape, been watching the same opponent for weeks now, trying to put together the best game plan you can. But the fact of the matter is, this Browns secondary hasn't played together that much this year. So you're looking at tape from last season, which is fine, but Thornhill was dinged up. McLeod was out early and missed half the season. We know how much time Grant Delpit missed. All these guys are healthy now, and all these guys are absolutely ready to go. The CeeDee Lamb matchup is certainly a big one. There's no doubt about it. CeeDee Lamb is an incredible, incredible talent. He is a guy that is going to put up north of 100 receptions every year in his career while he is still as close to 100% of his peak abilities. He's just a phenomenal player. I don't think him not being around much of the summer is an issue. I just don't. It's not like it was back in the day when guys were away, and held out and things like that. These guys are workout warriors. They work out 24/7, 365. There really is no off season. How many times have we seen these guys on vacation, any one of these professional athletes, and they're always doing something? So you don't get into that. I'm not worried about CeeDee Lamb. Can he maybe give you every snap? Probably not. Probably going to need a blow or two, but it's week one. A lot of guys are going to need a blow or two. And what did he miss? Practice? He wasn't going to play in preseason games. So I think the same is true for a lot of these guys. They did not play any preseason games and, practiced. Still doesn't mean you're ready to go 60 minutes. It will be weather-wise a little bit of advantage. Temperatures are supposed to be, believe it, in the low 60s. One of the benefits of having a 425 start on week one, opening weekend. So that is also something else you're looking at for. I don't know if there's much of a semblance of a Dallas Cowboy running game. Ezekiel Elliott, you figure Dalvin Cook is going to dress. Dinwiddie, the little guy Vaughn. I just don't see it. None of these guys are all that impressive. All these guys, Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook, if you told me 5 years ago these guys were in the same backfield, I would have been like, well, hell, don't even play your quarterback. Just hand it off every down. That's not the case now. It is certainly not the case now for either one of these guys. The Browns need to be smart. Obviously, simple things that you always talk about with any football game, but even more paramount in week one when nobody's played and really tackling. It's one of the most simplistic things in the entire league, but yet so many times we watch the Isaiah Likely touchdown yesterday. Absolute joke play. He caught it. Nobody defended the pass. Nobody looked for the ball, went to the sidelines, and, nobody gave any effort as far as to try to physically get him down. Everybody coming in with kill shots. Grab a part of his body and hang on for dear life and wait for your friends to get there. Tackling is of the utmost importance. Fill your lanes, JOK. And I'm really excited about this linebacking unit. JOK, Jordan Hicks. Hicks is going to be the guy rocking the green dot. But I am really excited. You guys know I've taught Jordan Hicks, probably one of the most under-talked about, which could be a huge, huge return of your investment of Jordan Hicks joining this team. He is one guy that we saw last year with the production that JOK gave this team, who can match JOK in production. Browns have not had somebody that can match JOK in production in years past. So not only an intelligent player, knows how to get players lined up. Certainly, he probably had some sort of, feedback. He's been around the league forever. There is not a team that Jordan Hicks hasn't played at some point or another. He knows the NFL. He knows it well and could be a huge, huge part of the Cleveland Browns' success here Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. Look, Dak will throw all day long. He has the ability to throw 50 times a game. We all know it. We certainly saw it back in 2020. Dak can throw all day long. Keep your people in front of you, tackle, get guys to the ground, and take advantage of whatever opportunities you're given. But I really think the Cleveland Browns defense is going to hit the ground running. As much as I didn't think they were going to hit the ground running last year coming out of the gate, I truly think they're going to hit the ground running this year coming out of the gate. They are ready to go. They are chomping at the bit. They are healthy, and they know that this first 6 weeks could be really, really good to them if they give everything that they have. Your latest Locked On Browns continues. I appreciate everybody for being along for the ride. Don't nobody go nowhere. We got some predictions coming. Really getting to start to put a bow on this here as we close down your first pregame show of the 2024 NFL season for your Cleveland Browns against the Dallas Cowboys here on Locked On Browns. We thank all of you who make the show their first listen every single day. If you are not part of the everyday crowd by now, we'll make a new plan stand and subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. Now, I think the importance of this game is paramount, and for the Browns, number one, it's week one. You want to get that off your chest. You just want to get that one in the win column. You already know that you already have a one-game lead over the Baltimore Ravens, who lost Thursday night. Also, it seems the closer we get to this kickoff on Sunday, it seems the more of the Debbie Downer Browns mentality fans, and I'll even say, sure, content creators and beaters. It just seems to get worse and worse. And I don't understand how a team that went 11-6 last year, with all the injuries, all the guys out, all the guys who missed a significant amount of time, if not all of the time, 3 offensive tackles, lost your safety for a while. There were so many things that went on with this team last year, and they still found a way to go 11-6. This team is built like a top shelf franchise. They are a focused, motivated group. They play for each other. This is not, again, for the 5 millionth time, this is not the Cleveland Browns that you all been accustomed to. It is a different team. It is a different state of mind. And the sooner that some of you can grasp that thought, the better. Now, I'm not going to deny anything. It all comes down, and most likely does come down, to Deshaun Watson. But I'm all right with that. I was fine with what Deshaun Watson was doing last year. And for the umpteenth time, I'll say it again. I think Deshaun Watson would have taken the Browns just as far as they went in 2023, if not further. If you don't like the guy, I get it. But that's not my job. My job is to evaluate what I see and how it pertains to the team's successes or to the team's failures. He's 8-4. Outplayed Joe Burrow in week 1 last year. Wasn't great, but was better than Joe Burrow. Ran amok with the Tennessee Titans. Yes, some other games where he played well against teams that weren't playing the best of quarterbacks. You have no choice. You play who the other team puts out there. But the last time we saw Deshaun Watson play football, he had a second half where he was 14-14 and took his team from 2 scores down and beat the Baltimore Ravens, everybody's darling, apparently, at home in Baltimore. So let's judge Deshaun on what we see, not what we think we're going to see, because I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. Let's judge by what we see. That is what should be the way to do it. I know for me, it's a job. All of you, it's not. But for me, it's a job. So I have to see what I see and evaluate it and give you my opinions from there. Not I think, or this, or if he gets hurt. Well, guess what? If Joe Burrow gets hurt, the Bengals are stinking. If Lamar Jackson gets hurt, the Ravens are going to stink. If Russell... it don't matter. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to stink anyway. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback for him. Bring back Bradshaw. Still ain't going to matter. So it brings us closer and closer to predictions. I do want to just mention special teams here. My assumption is the Browns are going to play it like what we've seen to this point. Just kick it in the end zone. That's all. Just kick it in the end zone. Dustin Hopkins, make your field goals. And, of course, Barack West, kick it 60 yards every time you punt it. Hopefully only doing it once, if 0 times possible. But prediction times, Browns, Cowboys. And this is funny because this game back in 2020, I remember it was always like Cleveland.com. They put up, all the reporters, and everybody had the Dallas Cowboys. And I believe I quote tweeted, it's fine. And I already predicted I thought the Browns were going to win. Fine. If nobody's going to say it, I'll say it. And the Cleveland Browns won in there and beat the Dallas Cowboys in the Star. I think the Browns are going to win on Sunday. Is it going to be perfection? Probably not. Are there going to be a whole bunch of people whining and moaning afterwards? Absolutely, because that's just the way it rolls around here. But I do believe Deshaun Watson is going to give you an effort of north of 200 yards. I believe that Deshaun Watson is probably going to throw for 2 touchdowns. One will be Jerry Jeudy. The other one will be David Njoku. The Browns defense, I think, is going to get after it. Myles Garrett's going to have 2 sacks. Alex Wright's going to have a sack and a half. Book it. There will be an interception from Juan Thornhill. Book it. These are things you can count on. I think that the Browns will beat the Dallas Cowboys. The score I'm kind of feeling is and you know me, you're not going to be no normal score. But you want to say like 30-19? Because I think if the Browns are going to get ahead early, which is just going to basically let Jim Schwartz, the old Simpsons, Mr. Burns, Smithers release the hounds. That is what's the position's going to be. And if you can get Jim Schwartz in a position where he can just unleash, and look, they'll have 5 edges playing Sunday, right? They'll have 4 defensive tackles playing unless they find a way to bring up Jawan Briggs from the practice squad. they're going to come all day long. And they're going to attack that center gap. They're going to certainly attack that left tackle. And, Guyton may have a great career. And I hope he does. God bless him. I just hope it starts really, really slow. Sunday against the Cleveland Browns at 4:25. Looking forward to the call. Certainly looking forward to Tom Brady in his first action in this capacity. I'm sure he's fired up. He's ready to go. Should be a fun day. I have no intention of bringing you guys anything Saturday. If, news comes up, we'll definitely get you some content. But this should be the last you would hear from me until the final gun sounds on Sunday. I'm excited. I appreciate, as always, all of you. I mean, for where the show is now, from when I first started this, almost 8 years ago now, it's just been an amazing, incredible ride. I could not be more thankful for all of you that come here every day, give me your time, listen to the shows. You guys are fantastic. So if you make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day, I appreciate the living daylights out of you. If you were not part of the everyday crowd by now, it's simple. Subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel, become an everydayer. The everydayers are a bunch of filthy animals, but they're my filthy animals. I suggest you become a filthy animal as well. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on the LOB. Let's go Browns!